Welcome to another edition of the Sportsport. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
We are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sportsport here on a Feel Good Friday. And once again, the Barnes and Tony Show. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Happy to be here. Like you said, Feel Good Friday, dude. Good for the Knicks. They're feeling good for sure, dude. We have a great weekend of sports ahead of ourselves as well, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're definitely going to talk some Knicks. And I do have to say, for the first time, I think all season, I watched a NBA game from start to finish. Started out, me and Pooch went to Vinny's in Stanford for some wangs, as Matthew would say. A couple legendary ales, which was nice. Speaking of legends, Michael's saying legends. So it's called the first half there, second half when we got back
nice
at home. And I have to say it was great. It was a completely different game than what I've seen in the last couple of years. Playoff basketball is definitely different, and I was definitely riled for the Knicks. Listen, obviously, it's completely different. Than my other teams, this and that. But I do have to say, now that they advanced, and it was very exciting, down to the last second. Love it. It's just the goal now is no matter what, and we talked about good juju, this and that. We cannot let Boston go back to the MFLs. I don't care what Michael needs to put it aside about the construction of the team. Beat the fucking team. I know he already said they're going to get swept. They're not.
He did say that?
Yeah, he did. They just need to get the job done because we don't like Boston. And like I said, after that last championship, they're not winning a championship for a very long time. The whole city, Tony. So the Knicks need to do their part. So Josh B, get on it. Come on.
Now, when you say that, you watch this game first time, long time, dialed in, different, is just like in terms of the level of play for the Knicks specifically, or just you're talking about like NBA games in general?
I would say, I didn't watch the other games, but I just thought, just compared to other games, there's defense, there's intensity, it's not just loafing. It was exciting, honestly. I think, and you watched it, I know you didn't watch last night because you were working, but like you watched some of the other games, right?
Oh yeah, certainly. Yeah. And I obviously have caught some of the Knicks games as well. And it is, like Knicks fans are great, dude. They really are. And honestly, like, I guess you could really say any other team's fan base, like you said, it's, especially for the playoffs, it almost is something similar to hockey where, you get more people buying in, and there's obviously an elevated level of intensity, at the arenas. So it does make for some great sports, and, blowouts or not, it is still fun to watch.
And I think the one thing too, we were talking about before the show is, of course, we get it. Besides that, they had a better regular season. Besides that, they beat the Knicks in all the games that they played this year. We've seen bigger upsets in sports before, so it's not impossible. It's not even the U.S. beating Russia. It's not.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So I'm saying, it's not like that.
It's not crazy. Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think, sure, like the Knicks have to play a better series, but I don't know. I just feel like and maybe this doesn't make sense as the allergies are in the air. Allegra this morning or no?
Yeah, of course, dude.
At least I didn't say Robitussin.
No, yeah, that's
that
good,
means
dude.
that I think they're going to bother you less today, honestly. Good juju.
Oh, my God.
But I know this might not sound like it makes any sense, Tony, but I almost think, too, there's something to the fact that the Knicks didn't win any of those games against them in the regular season. I feel like it's just tough to, just beat a team 8 times in a row in a season. And, that's it. You just win every game. Like, eventually something changes.
You're not wrong. I mean, it's tough, dude, obviously, because it's like on one hand, you're like, yeah, it is tough to beat a team that many times. But it's also going to be tough for the Knicks, to beat the Celtics multiple times in this series. But, I mean, I guess, like you said, nothing is out of hand here. But, I mean, if you had to put a percentage on the Knicks doing it, like, what would you think?
30.
Oh my god,
9%.
That's
and
not
shout
bad.
out Josh. We were both listening at the top of the show this morning.
Dude.
Dave did pull a 9 when he was talking about the Knicks. So that was hilarious to hear, and I'm sure next time Josh B will clip that.
Was it really just like that?
Yes,
The
100%. And then they
9.
led by 9, like that, exactly just like that.
Oh my god,
so
dude.
funny. But I did see we have a bunch of comments here.
Yes.
So let's get to that.
Absolutely, dude. Early and often, you mentioned Michael Theophil in the house. I am curious to see, obviously, how he feels. But Kev, do we know how he feels? Let's go. He says, we want the smoke. Let's go, Knicks. You have Josh B, of course. Hype for the Knicks as yo, Knicks, baby. And he says, what is up, fam? Michael Buckter, shout out to Josh B. And he says, Josh B, tell the guys what Ernie, you and I did last night.
He's literally cracking up so much right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Can't even breathe.
Absolutely, dude. And then Josh B, late night Buckta convos, a new group chat with Buckta, absolutely hilarious. And then Michael says Brunson big time, but the Knicks are gonna get swept here. He said he hopes he's wrong.
Yeah, we need a lot of hope. We need a lot of good juju, Michael. Boston not getting shit. Those piece of shit fans don't deserve anything, okay?
And then he says Luka to the Mavs. I guess go back to the Mavs. Big chess move in all of sports. AD, Kai, and Luka.
Saw it, don't believe it.
Like you saw it as in.
Yeah, there's something on Facebook.
Oh, really?
I don't know. It's just this isn't a soap opera. It's not happening.
So you think there's any traction there?
No. I mean, like I said, I know that was out there, but I think there's a 0% chance. I think Luka's pissed.
So
honestly.
just like Mavericks
I
fan
think, you know what
dream.
I would to give a comparison, we're very big on the comparisons, parallels. I think Luka views the Mavs like I view Juan Soto, honestly. That's what I would say to do your complete comparison, Tony.
You really think so? Like that bad?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Michael Buckter says the time was 12:18, by the way, when he made the conversation, the group chat.
He knew better not to contact me at that hour.
Yeah, sleeping.
Yes.
My mother, why are you on so early? She wants to know. Why don't you tell them?
Yeah, busy day, the Yankee game,
Yeah,
the golf,
there
the
we go.
appointments, and Mary. I mean, this is late compared to the 7 a.m. hour that me and Michael had yesterday. JD was getting a good kick out of that, and Tommy yesterday because I was late on his show. Just popped in at the end, and he was saying, Tommy was like, "What time are you on? 4 a.m. yesterday?"
And then my mother wants to know allergies. Yes, suffering. Literally, probably all through the night. Honestly, dude. Yeah, like it was pretty bad. But of course, yesterday you're outside all day.
I have been sneezing a lot. I have to say with the allergies.
They say that like the pollen count all time high this year.
Why is it? It's always too high.
Yeah.
Why is it never too low?
I don't know, dude. Yeah, right. Like, can't we do something about that?
Yeah.
You know. And then Josh B, the 9, says, well, clip it, dude. Looking forward to that. Michael Buckta, on the same train you are on, Brian. No more Boston shite.
Yes, there we go, Michael. Come on. Get into it a little bit, okay?
And he says, how do we think Ernie and Josh B enjoyed the group chat that night? That late, dude.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they are night owls.
They are. I mean, Josh B, I'm pretty sure doesn't sleep at all.
No.
And then he says, my 51st group chat with Downtime TV. Oh, I guess in general. Okay, I see what you're saying. And then the late night contact, fire, amazing. Michael, all caught up, dude. And even Michael, honestly, the late night contact, the early morning sports, maybe he should get some extra Z's too,
Yeah.
And then my mother, it's low and there's cold wet winter. Yes, we know that, but we didn't have that. So high pollen count, and we suffered, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, it's just I don't know. Just people are just so I don't know. I don't even actually want to say it.
I think euthanized on the track.
I'm actually glad that you played that because I feel like we'll have to do our bonus Kentucky Derby.
Oh, that's right.
At the end of the show. But anyway, a lot to get to. So let's start in the world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Stop it, Yep. And Alonso cracks one of the Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeouts.
Drill deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. Sorry, yeah, just like I said, we'll talk about it later. I'm just annoyed, but anyway, just questions and questions. Let's ask a couple more questions, Tony. Do you have any questions? Anyway, Yankees did not play yesterday, so a rare opportunity here for Tony to bat leadoff. Mets.
Yeah, I guess so.
I know it's somber, but I'm saying obviously you still want to talk about it.
No, yeah, of course, dude. I mean, there is some things to talk about, obviously, regarding the Mets here as they, capped off their series against the D-backs yesterday. Unfortunately, to no avail in terms of a good winning outcome here. They do drop this game 4-2. You get the Kadai Senga start, dude, and he's been great for the most part. We'll get to some woes of the pitching staff with Senga included here. But obviously, it was, and you had Zach Gallen, by the way, on the bump for Arizona, who I guess had some bad starts, some good starts, I suppose, to start off the year, but is still a good pitcher. In any case, dude, it was a pretty tight game in terms of some good pitching to the first 4 innings. Maybe Senga gets into a little bit of trouble on top of the third. Leadoff single to Thomas. Does get Tawa to strike out. And then a couple more singles. Perdomo gets walked. All of a sudden, you get kind of like bases juice. You're back into a corner. You do have 2 outs. And he gets himself out of it, striking out Smith swinging. Went to the forkball. It was a 3-pitch at bat. Again, that forkball, he did a good job, honestly, in establishing, I guess, the forkball in the zone early on, so he was able to start to go outside the zone like we talked about earlier on in the season. But he does get into some trouble here in the fourth, as we do see sometimes. He does not get the fastball location down, kind of relies on the cutter and the forkball, I feel like, too much, but then starts to lose the location there. Batters catch on, and they just kind of wait him out. They just sit there patiently, leadoff walk to Naylor. Suarez does end up grounding out, so we get Naylor out at second, but then after that, Gurriel singles, Suarez first and second, 1 out. And then obviously, tough play here by McNeil. Throwing error here. Everybody's safe. And then what's his name scores? I guess Thomas scores, right? Yeah. So at that point, it's 1-0. Throwing error by McNeil. I mean, obviously, it's tough. I mean, you don't really want these things to happen. But again, McNeil, I guess, somewhat still newly back from injury. But to me, there's really no excuse.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm imagining he had a couple rehab games.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And he did well. I mean, again, defense, the bats, great, whatever. And it is, I don't know, man. I still kind of question his chemistry with Lindor. And that middle infield, I mean,
it goes back to the rat.
Yeah, of course it does. I mean, I don't know. It's just an odd thing, dude. And I don't know, man. McNeil just seems the type of guy who, like, even though you may say to him, like, oh, bygones be bygones, just like his attitude sometimes, like, I don't know, man.
And I feel like
I don't want to speculate,
the bite
but
doesn't match the bark, right? I mean, the way he acts doesn't match up to the way he plays, is what I'm saying. It's like he has his attitude. Well, you're so tight, dude. But like, are you gonna do something? Or
I mean, listen, like, you have a batting title year again, like, sure, like,
but that's a long time ago.
I know, dude. Like, so it's, obviously kind of tough there. 1-0. I guess you can say Senga, whatever, maybe not your fault, but then ends up getting out of the inning, which is fine. But it's 1-0 here. Bats continue to remain stifled. Bottom of the fourth, Gallen comes in, 3 up, 3 down, 3 Ks. And I mean, again, he's nothing crazy. He's a fastball, slider, curveball pitcher. It's like nothing crazy. It's just, Vientos chasing the curveball out of the zone, like fastballs just getting blown by, sort of deal. So definitely, I feel like because of that, I mean, obviously Gallen had quite the confidence on the mound, but I mean, the bats weren't hot. All right. And then top of the fifth here, that was, by the way, the fourth I mentioned was the end of Kadai's night. So
short,
very short. I don't think he's had an outing with 90 pitches yet this year.
I mean, that's crazy.
It is kind of crazy. And again, I don't know if, because of the injuries, because of the lack of the 6-man rotation, that they're kind of coddling him a little bit. until, Montas and Manaea come in and they can do a 6-man rotation and he has extra days rest. I don't know what it is. But not for nothing. I mean, Mets pitchers haven't been going deep into games at all.
No.
I'm pretty sure they average 5 innings a start, which isn't great. And honestly, I think because of that, the bullpen is starting to suffer. And we're seeing, Mendoza go to, these no-name bullpen guys even. So 2 days ago with the Brazoban start, we saw guys like who even are these guys being called up and then being, thrown into this game. In any case, you get Cabrera coming in the top of the 5th. And Perdomo flies out, 1 out. He walks Smith. Naylor doubles to right. So you have runners 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. He gets pulled. Bring in Kranick, who's been great, but gives up a sac fly RBI, makes it 2-0, but then it gets Gurriel to ground out to end the inning. But again, I mean, I don't know. If I was Mendoza, I probably would have just brought in Kranick for the inning rather than bring in, Cabrera. And I don't know if it was just like a
Genesis Cabrera?
Yeah.
Okay, the former Cardinal.
Correct.
He new on the roster?
New on the roster.
Okay.
So I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know if it was like a statistic thing, but I don't know. I would have just brought in Kranick for the 5th. He comes out in the 6th, 3 up, 3 down for him. And then bottom of the 6th here, we do get a Soto home run here off of Gallen, which was great. Obviously, his 4th home run, first at City of this season. It was a cutter, middle, roped it, and it was great, dude. I mean, it was
your first thought though about time? Because
of course, dude.
Earning, I'm sure.
About time. Yeah. About time, honestly, for the day, and about time for Soto. You know, I mean, obviously, like I said, the bats were absolutely cold. Unfortunately, after that solo shot, there was nothing behind him. Alonso strikes out, Winker walks, but then Vientos grounds out to 3rd. So they weren't able to get anything else going. And then, unfortunately for Kranick, he gives up a home run the following inning. So he gives a 2-run lead right back to the Diamondbacks. Which kind of sucks, dude. And then again, I mean, 8th inning at this point, or 7th inning, excuse me, they bring in Thomas. Bats still absolutely ice cold. I mean, Nimmo lines out. I mean, you get McNeil singling to right, but then you have Terren striking out, Taylor striking out. So there was really no offense to be had there. You do get a 2nd homer from Soto. That would have been obviously his 5th of the year. 2nd at City. Top of the 8th off of Ginkel. Very similar inning. Lindor led off, struck out. A 9-pitch at bat led to a fastball over the middle. Soto was able to rope it here. But again, after an Alonso walk, which I don't know, man. I probably would have maybe pinch ran for Alonso.
They were mentioning that on this morning.
I mean, obviously it's a tough call because then
I feel like though, you know what I mean. You got to just go for the jugular. I mean, especially there, 3-2, game could be tied. You have other guys in the lineup.
Right.
I mean, he might not even get up again.
Yeah, exactly. And not for nothing, like you do have Acuna who is making a living from going from first to home.
Fly.
So, and then right after that, what do you know? Like, Winker doubles. Alonso gets held up at 3rd. And again, even though at that point, 1 out, runners in the corner, or runners on 2nd and 3rd.
Fly ball. Vientos. Not even close?
No. Not even close, dude. And he's, dude, I'm telling you, chasing. Look at that. The strikeout pitch, slider, low and away.
I mean, the correlation, if you think about it across Major League Baseball, sure, there are times when guys are hitting it and just not doing anything with it, but I feel like 99% of the time when someone's struggling, they're chasing.
Yeah.
Every time.
There's
no
time,
plate
dude.
discipline.
And it's tough, dude. I really don't know. I don't know if he just gets caught up in the moment. Because his bat did start to heat up.
Right.
Right. But in any case, it's ice cold now. And then Nimmo, who, since his 9 RBI night has been kind of ice cold as well, swung over the top of struck out looking on a sinker. And then the ninth inning here, Garrick is up another solo shot. And then again, I mean, nothing was pointing to a big 9th inning here for the Mets, and unfortunately, it was not the top half of your lineup. At the top of your lineup, Terrens flies out, McNeil grounds out, Taylor grounds out, and that's the end of the game. So, kind of an unfortunate loss here. Obviously, you still look good. You still have a great record here, and not for nothing, Soto's bat heating up I mean, that was kind of the one thing you were waiting for in order to, get this trifecta going here. And hopefully, again, hopefully it's just, one of those nights where, like the rest of the bats just weren't on it. I mean, that's going to happen, ebbs and flows, whatever. I think more of the concern does still remain with your pitching staff here. I mentioned the lack of depth for your starters to go in starts. And then, not for nothing, dude, I spoke about this a couple weeks ago, and we've seen it around the league multiple times when your starters don't go and your bullpen has to be used a lot. I mean, they're not going to be invincible, like eventually they're going to start giving up runs. They're going to get tired.
Or somebody else does.
I mean, honestly, dude, and not for nothing, I think actually Rick and Dave were saying Montas or Minaya is close to coming back. But, until that happens, you kind of have this revolving door of bullpen pieces at this point. And now, Craddock is starting to, kind of get his feet back on the ground in terms of giving up runs. For a long time, he had a 0 ERA. Same thing with Stanek as well. And now they're giving up their runs. And the only thing I could think of is because of the fatigue, is because these guys are being used back to back. Stanek, was placed in a closer role for a couple times when Diaz was struggling a little bit. So, I think they're just being overused, I would say. There's no other really thing I can think about. And I think, I know you're maybe trying to baby Senga. He's been injured before. You don't want to lose him for another season again. But you got to push him a little bit. 87 pitches he threw last night. And I know towards the end he was struggling with the location, and it was a tight game. But again, at this point, your hands are kind of tied. You're going to have to, tell your starters to put up or shut up. Go to the sixth inning, So I guess we'll see what happens. You got Clay Holmes.
In St. Louis?
In St. Louis against the Cardinals, and he's been that pitcher, although his ERA is probably below a 2 right now. Or maybe at a 2.3? I don't know.
2.64. Wow.
2.64,
really?
really?
A lot lower than I had anticipated. Yeah. Sonny Gray.
He's Sonny Gray. Yeah. Right? You know him, dude. But he's another pitcher too. Who? Holmes is another pitcher who hasn't gone 6 innings.
Really, not one time.
I don't think so.
Wow.
I can double check, but I'm pretty sure we've been saying every start. It's like
I just
5 innings
by now, just one.
Just one, dude. Let's see. Let's go to the games here. Oh, I guess one, yeah. Against St. Louis.
Me knowing the Mets better than you.
Strikeout, 6 innings. Come on, dude. One start, he's gone 6 innings.
Going.
It's tough, dude. Obviously, I think, this is going to be one of those games where, you got to tell Clay Holmes, you're going to need to get 6 innings or more out of him.
Yeah.
So, obviously, the Mets are still in a great spot here. You're against St. Louis. St. Louis, yes, they have some good hitters, but you've played well against them before. They're not a crazy good team right now. They're playing phenomenal baseball. So it's certainly a game that you can have tonight. And again, if Clay Holmes, even if he does, if he just keeps the ball in the park, you're gonna have a win. So.
And I guess this isn't anything definitive, but I saw 3 articles just now when I searched his name, David Robertson, about the Mets as a possibility.
Oh yeah.
Don't you think? I think that makes a ton.
Yeah.
He
was obviously good when he was on the Mets a couple seasons ago, and he was also a player who didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
I would say though, when he did go to Miami, he got kind of.
But last year he had a 3 ERA.
Yeah.
And also with the guys you're working with, you're telling me he's not better than one of the guys at the
Yeah, no, very true. And experience shows for sure too. So
you don't need him to close,
right? So I think it'd be a good idea to look at him, and we'll see what happens. But obviously, you still want you still need Stanek to figure it out. You want Diaz to be more consistent. You want your stars to go deeper. So those are things you're looking at in this upcoming series. Again, I think the lack of hit. I think he had 5 hits yesterday, 0 for 2 with the runners in scoring position. So obviously, not many opportunities, but you still weren't capitalizing on them. I think the Mets are still. I think they're batting .222 with runners in scoring position.
Whatever.
Which is .222, which I think is 27th in the league or 25th in the league. So.
Yeah, Rick and Dave were talking about abysmal was the adjective they used for the runners in scoring position.
Yeah, not good. And that's what baseball's all about. Situational hitting. Matthew Ryan's calling in. You want to take him for 60?
60.
All right, Matthew, stand by. But I guess, like Rick and Dave said too today, I mean, the good news is that even with that stat and with the lack of your starters going deep, I mean, you've been having a great record so far. You've been playing some great baseball.
What happened yesterday, Tony? What happened?
Are you all right, Matthew?
I wish that should be a clip just of him saying that in your face, Tony. I think that would that could go viral on TikTok.
I mean, it was just a loss, dude. I mean, baseball teams lose. The Yankees lost the last time out too, right?
No, they won.
Orioles last game?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
just kidding.
I did one yesterday.
What?
They won.
No, they did not win.
Well, they didn't lose yesterday.
That's true. They didn't lose yesterday. You have anything of note here, Matthew? What do you got?
Lowly Diamondbacks.
Are you gonna be at the Yankee game tonight, Matthew?
No, I got work.
Dude, that's too bad.
But what happened? I thought they were one of the best teams in baseball.
They still are, dude. 21 wins. I mean, I don't think many teams around the league have that.
It's just quite a shame that
All right, come on, Matthew. What do you
yet?
got? Come on, dude. Give me something good here.
Did Juan Soto hit a home run yet?
He had 2 yesterday, actually.
Oh, he hit 2. He's throwing 2 runs.
Oh,
Wow,
my
man.
God, Matthew. Thank you for the call. Enjoy your workday, Matthew. Like, what are we doing here?
I really wish that, like, just for that, we could have gotten like a Mike Francesa analysis.
Yeah,
Oh, so you're calling
yes.
You gonna do that?
Dude. Oh, my God.
Oh man.
Dude, those videos are hilarious. People calling
dude,
his show
Pooch
like,
is so obsessed with those.
Really?
I've heard about 1,000.
Yeah,
of them, honestly. Oh man, I don't know what it is. For some reason, it's the funniest thing out of anybody on the radio. Him getting tight. I don't know why, but it just is. Yeah. So big weekend of baseball. I'm excited to be at the stadium. 2 out of the 3 games this weekend, and to see Max Fried tonight. His 115 or 119 ERA.
Oh, come on, dude. 119.
It is a 119.
No, I don't know. I know
It is a 119.
I know the Yankees more than you. Come on, dude.
His 119. And speaking of that, Matthew, who I'm going to see Sunday at the game, says, "Come on."
And he
So
says,
obviously,
"Let's go."
he's obviously fired up.
Oh, he's
for
jacked
sure.
up, dude.
And yeah, you just you want to take a series. You've played well at home so far this year, 10-5. You know what's actually interesting? I was just thinking about this. I don't know if they're like waiting or the results didn't come back, but just being that it's Jazz Chisholm bobblehead night, I haven't heard anything regarding the MRI.
Oh my God, really? On the bobblehead night, dude?
It's just a week, 2 days, this and that. Doesn't seem like there's any update. I'm looking at kind of the same things you are. But
yeah, I guess we can try and check.
I was kind of
Twitter,
saying,
but-
like, I mean, I don't want Pablo Reyes starting, like, start Oswald Peraza and Oswald Cabrera every game, but almost could, like, the way he's been playing, like, almost could be a blessing in disguise that kind of things if he does have to miss a little time. No.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean, because there's been a lot of Michael K swing and a miss every time he's up.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and obviously it hasn't been good in terms of his production, and yeah, no, I think it could be a good thing for the team, but obviously, I mean,
he's good on defense though. That's the thing too.
Yeah, and again, I mean, around the bags, he's been good too
Yeah.
for the most part. So, obviously not getting on base a ton, but yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Oblique, right? Oblique?
Yeah, but he said it's oblique. Originally, he said flank. Have you ever heard anybody?
Flank?
I've heard flank regarding steak. But I
Yeah.
have to say, I've never heard it, regarding an oblique or a body injury.
No, yeah, I don't know where the flank is, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe Matthew Gabriel knows.
And supposedly, DJ LeMahieu, who did have a cortisone in the hip, is supposed to be resuming, over the weekend. He's had some at-bats with Somerset.
How does that make you feel?
I mean, not great. The only thing I would say, and I mean, it's not really saying anything, Tony. And like I said, I want to have Oswald Peraza in there every day. Give him a look. But I guess I would rather have him than Pablo Reyes starting.
Yeah.
'Cause Pablo Reyes starting the other day, he comes in a big. I mean, it's just like he's getting out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I guess LeMahieu, I think 6 for 10 in Somerset, but it's Somerset.
It's Somerset,
of course.
dude.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't really want him, and It's interesting, but I mean, I said this yesterday. I mean, how many times do you see, an oblique injury and then like it's he's just gonna be out a couple days. Like
Never see that.
It's a couple weeks,
Yeah.
a month, something like that. But maybe it's good long term that Jazz can reset, work on a couple things.
Lurking.
We'll see. But like I said, I am really jacked to be at the stadium tonight.
Michael, good morning, dude. Thank you.
What's going on, brother?
New backpack? Different backpack.
Personal bag.
What's up, dude?
It's not a backpack, Tony. It's a personal bag.
It's a personal bag, dude. Come on, dude.
But like I was saying, so we're gonna get for this series against Tampa, Fried, Puipot tonight, and then tomorrow will be Schmidt and Littell, and then Sunday will be Will Warren and Taj Bradley. So obviously, me and Matt being there Sunday for Mr. Warren. Hoping they can get it together. I mean, give us 6, strike out 9. Come on, Tony. He's capable of doing it.
You think so?
Yeah. And like I said, I feel like we do typically play well against the Rays at home. So, I mean, I think there's a pretty good chance we can sweep here. The bare minimum is 2 out of 3. We have a 2-game lead on Boston right now. Let's definitely, add to that lead.
Yeah, and you're coming off the off day as well. Everyone should be rested, dude.
Yeah. Just no Pablo Reyes. Like, enough with that bullshit. Like, just cut him right now. Like, I don't. No, but seriously.
Yeah. No,
especially in the one thing that's just annoying. Like, he's only in single A, this and that. But it's like if Jazz is gonna miss a month or something, like we can't just like give Lombard a shot. Like it's like we had to give LeMahieu a shot instead. Like that it is annoying. Like those are type of things you feel like would help the team that they're not gonna do. But just don't be Reyes. I mean, I'm all for Oswald Peraza because I've been saying this. I mean, I know his numbers in the major leagues haven't been good, but show me the time that he's played, a couple weeks straight, 5 out of 6 games. It hasn't happened. So I think we need to give him, that opportunity. He's good in the field. So let's see what happens. Now, are we updated pick-wise?
No.
Okay, so
we got to do from
Wednesday's
games. Yes, dude.
So obviously I lost with the Yankees, and I probably had
You're the Braves and the over, which 0-2 in that one.
Let's see what the over was for the Yankees game here.
Yeah.
Might have hit it. It might have been 8.5. Game cast.
I want to say it was 8.5, right?
I gotta look at the box score.
The game cast. Yep, by accident.
No. But the game cast can't show it.
Oh, really?
There's the box score.
Oh,
isn't that weird?
Because on my phone the game cast shows it.
I hate when they make it like complicated.
Wait, so in the box score they don't show it either?
Nope. But watch, it'll be on the phone, of course.
No, 9.5.
Okay, so 0-4, and then what was the other pick?
Padres and the under. So let's see. Padres. Padres 5-3.
In the under?
Yes. I want to say that was the
Could
under.
Be 8.5.
I want to say it was higher
or
up, dude.
On here. What are they?
6.5, dude. Right here.
Oh, right there. Okay, so
6.5.
So
damn.
Basically bleeding out like a sieve right now, Tony.
Like a sieve, dude. Sorry, I don't think I did much better, to be honest, dude.
Okay, so at least
because I know I had the Mets, obviously, and I had the over, which it went on the under. So that's 0-2. And then I had Texas and the under, which all right, let's see the under. Maybe it was 8.5. It was 8.5. All right, so that's 1-3. And then I had the Reds and the under, which is 0-2.
0-2.
So that creates a 1-5.
All right, so no blood.
Yeah. Hold your smile back, Brian.
What are the updated?
All right, so 1-5 and 1-5. Let's do some math here. So that was me to 30 and 24. Put that down. And that brings Brian, excuse my sniffles here, to 26 and 28.
Wow.
Oof.
But all right, time to make up ground.
Yeah, gotta make up ground here.
So let's do it. An MLB 6-pack pick segment brought to you by the Hirschloffer.
Absolutely, dude. Do you remember who starts off, though?
I believe it's you.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. All right, let's start out, why not, with the Mets.
Busch Stadium.
Busch Stadium, yes, dude. Stadium I definitely would appreciate going to be honest.
Like Busch?
Yeah, definitely. Busch? No?
Busch Light bottles, the deal, college.
The deal?
I think it was
Well, yeah.
18 packs for $20 or something.
That's pretty solid.
Now they're probably 40.
Yeah, forget
Inflation,
about it,
right?
dude. Busch.
Busch.
So let's start on this Friday, like I said, at Busch Stadium here. I mentioned Clay Holmes. I mentioned the depth he's going to need to go here. The Cardinals, Sonny Gray, decent, but Soto, first time this season, back-to-back days, back-to-back home runs in those games, dude. Why not? The bats stay hot. Lindor and Alonso maybe catching on as well. Vientos continues to struggle here. Defensive woes, there are none, I think, in this game here. Clay Holmes pitches, I would say a solid out. I'll give him 6 1/3, 2 earned runs, maybe a 2-run shot in the 7th to get him plucked. Diaz definitely, comes out in the 9th for sure here. Closes the door. I say Mets take this one. I'm going to say 3-2 Mets and the under here in St. Louis.
All right. And I am going to go to the stadium,
Why not?
figuratively, literally, Tony. Everybody's jacked up. Max Fried, Ryan Peapot, and Yankees minus 235 tonight. The off day yesterday, everybody's riled, rested, ready to go. Last time the Yankees played the Rays, they won 3 out of 4 in Tampa. I'm expecting nothing less here. Total set 8.5. And you know what? For all you people out there on TikTok, everyone would say, "Oh, this aged well. This aged well in predictions. This is gonna age well." So just remember this. And I would love to see you comment after the Yankees win tonight that it aged well. Please comment and say that.
There we go.
Anyway, I think it's just a dominant performance from Max Fried. 7 innings, no runs, 9 strikeouts. And I think the bats early, often, Judge is really locking in. The ball's starting to go over the wall again. 10 home runs now. I think he has another multi-hit night. Let's say 3 for 5, a homer, 4 RBIs. And I think the Yankees really put up some runs in this one. And I think this is a laugher, honestly. Let's say Yankees win this game 8-3. So it's going to be the Yankees and the over.
And the over, dude. All right, cool. Write that down. Got it. Good. Next game here. I'm going to get on the Tigers train here. We're going to go to L.A. as they face off against the Angels. This is going to be game 2 of this 4-game set here. Tigers pummeled them last night 10-4. You have Scubal on the on the bump, tonight, 9:38 p.m. here. Tigers obviously playing some solid ball here. Another team, surprisingly, honestly, for me, at 20 wins right now. Not great on the road, but still 20-12 on the season. Working on a 2-game win streak. Outscoring their opponent 17-8 in the last 2 games. So obviously the bats are doing well. Angels, 6-game losing streak. Mike Trout batting 179, dude.
2.
Yeah?
Just got placed.
Just got placed in the injured list. That's tough for Trout.
Even more to your point.
Yeah, honestly, even more to my point. Spencer Torkelson, 9 dingers on the year. Gets
How
his
many?
10th tonight. 9. Okay, Dave. So I would say the Tigers over under 7.5, which for me is honestly a little bit low. I know Scubal, good. Soriano could pitch well, but really hasn't. I think the Tigers can put up 6 easy. Angels score 2 on a whim. So it'll be 6-2 Detroit and the over.
All right. So it would be my absolute lock of the night. I mean, double locks, because the Yankees, there's no way they're not winning tonight. But give me the San Francisco Giants, Oracle Park, Tony. The Colorado Rockies are 6-25, and they've won their last 2 games.
Oh, gosh.
There's no way you're going to tell me that Antonio Senzatella, and that's not how you say it, but
Senzatella?
Senzatella
Yeah.
is going to come into Oracle Park outpitch Robbie Ray, and that the San Francisco Giants are going to drop this game. It's just not going to happen. I think Ray, 7 scoreless, the elusive 11 strikeouts, and I think former Met Wilmer Flores, 4 for 5, 2 home runs, including one into McCovey Cove, an opposite field shot. And I think the Giants blank the Rockies 5-0. It's going to be the Giants and under.
Giants in the under. I like that. I should wrote it down probably though. Giants under. Logan Allen, dude. Do I take Toronto? I guess Michael Wacha against the O's right now. I guess give me the Royals. Why not, dude? Royals, Camden Yards right now playing the Orioles. There's 9.5 here. This is the second 3-game set for these two teams here. Kansas City does lead the series in the regular season 2-1. Dean Kremer, dude.
Come on.
A 7 ERA. Nothing good coming out of there. 30 innings pitched, 40 hits given up, dude. 7 of them being home runs. Michael Wacha, maybe not as great as he was last season, but still a 3.38 ERA. Only 1 dinger given up. Obviously gets into trouble with the walks here, which, maybe could bode well for the Birds, but I would say give me the Royals. 9.5 is high. I say Michael Wacha pitches a little bit out of his shorts tonight in Camden Yards.
Why is he wearing shorts?
Hey, listen, summertime. It's hot over there. I don't care, dude. Dean Kremer. I don't know, maybe 4 innings pitched, 5 earned runs. Royals win. I'll say 5 or 6-3. Royals and the under.
So Royals, Mets, and then what was your other one?
Detroit.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah. So that paves the way, Tony, for me to take the old Apple TV Plus special.
Yikes.
The Padres in Pittsburgh taking on the Pirates. Legend Mitch Keller on the mound. 1 and 2, 3 right 9-7.
There we go.
Going against Dylan Cease, who has not pitched to the back of his baseball card really this season. But I think this is a perfect opportunity. And yes, Brian Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz are good, but I think this Padres team far better. Tatis is on fire. Machado off to a good start as well. I don't think this is close. I think the Padres come in and rout the Pirates. I'm going to say 9-3. And I think Cease, 7 innings, 2 earned, a dozen strikeouts. So give me the Padres and the over. And just like that, that is your MLB 6-pack. So
nice, dude.
Big weekend upon us here for Major League Baseball. Pumped to go to the stadium tonight. And we'll see if I'm lucky enough, Tony, to get the Jazz Chisholm basketball jersey.
Basketball jersey.
Yes.
That's freaking sick, dude.
Yeah.
You're gonna try get there early.
Yeah, I mean, we're
guess?
getting there. We're getting there at 5. So I think the gates open 5:30. I'm gonna be tight though, honestly, because my move is anytime we go to the stadium and then the line is down River Avenue. I'm just let's just go to the bar and just wait for the line to down.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's just one of those things. Okay, it'd be cool to get.
Right.
But it's am I really going to be that
dude?
heartbroken? It's funny, double giveaway scenario, but it's so funny how me and Matt are with this stuff. On Sunday is Giancarlo Stanton Yeti bobblehead day.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But that one, I could say that I care even less about. The Jazz jersey, I feel at least I can wear it. Okay, it's kind of cool. But I always talk about the bobblehead. I mean, it's am I going to stare at it, Tony?
No. A Yeti bobblehead?
Yeah, Star Wars. I never get what does Star Wars have to do with Major League Baseball? Why is that incorporated?
Especially for the Yankees too. I feel like they do a lot of Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, no, they have a whole series, and it's just Mark is just loves it. I don't know,
big Star Wars guy.
They're just the bobbleheads, and it's just I don't know, just a collection. It's just enough. And I think John Pollock said enough. He said he's a sad man.
Rightfully so, dude. I mean, Detroit.
We're gonna talk about it at the end.
But Tigers doing well.
Tigers are doing well. But Detroit, bright future. But it's just one of those things. If I had to sum it up for the Pistons, it was just not enough. You're right there, but you just couldn't do it. Couldn't close.
When you say bright future, does that mean next year they would?
Yeah. I think next year, I wouldn't be surprised if they're back in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time at that point, because it'll be 2026 in 14 seasons. So.
I mean, that'd be huge because, I mean, again, like you said, I mean, that franchise has not been living up to anything.
Interesting, he says, Tigers play so late tonight. I hate the West Coast trip, LOL. But, no, we've talked about this. Do you like a Friday night, no early Saturday crew call, but you like the game being on at 10 for the Mets on a Friday night?
I would say yes.
Right? Like
I would
horseshoe,
say yes.
late night,
horseshoe,
the pool.
late night. Yeah.
It's like usually, there's nothing to watch. I got to watch, some NBA game that I don't want to watch. So.
No, I don't want to watch that. No, definitely. I would watch, honestly, this game tonight at the horseshoe. It'd be sick.
Exactly. So that'll be interesting. But, Tigers off to a good start. Glaber, I've seen, has put a couple over the wall. So like I said, pumped for the games this weekend. Definitely we'll have to recap that on Monday and get as much footage as I can. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll show up on Monday wearing a Jazz Chisholm Jr. basketball jersey. Anyway, let's go to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores. Captain with the overtime winner. That's the nail break. It's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping. Rink Washington made the full split save. Are you kidding me? Turn. Side of the net. Between the legs and they score. Filthy. David Pastrnak. The silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
All right, so two big, I don't know if you want to say Kaplan bombs or Mercigliano bombs, but Rangers, big news last night, both on both fronts, and I believe the Mike Sullivan news came out first.
Yes.
He's about to be one of the highest paid coaches in NHL history. Obviously, the Penguins just parted ways with him this past week. That's something we talked about. Looks like that John Tortorella is heavily rumored to be one of his assistants, and I guess David Quinn was offered a spot, but I guess he wants to be a head coach. And I know we kind of talked about this. Excuse me. Talked about this before, and I mentioned it in the group chat yesterday. A little, Josh P. pessimism on the hire, but I don't know. I think it's a good move, and we talked about it before the show. Just the fact that, I know there was the parallel with Peter Laviolette, but I just feel like he's so much closer to winning and being a perennial playoff contender than Laviolette was. So I think this is a good hire, I'm excited to see what he does with this group. I think he instantly garners a lot of respect in the locker room, and I was saying in the group chat last night that he's not going to be like Laviolette, afraid to go into the locker room after the game. So I think it's a great hire. But what are your thoughts here, especially with Torts back on the bench as an assistant?
Yeah, I mean that again, that was the tandem we spoke about, and I do like the tandem. To have Tortorella taking players or holding players accountable, and we know that him and Sullivan can work well together. It is kind of funny that the last time I guess they were actually coaching an actual NHL team together was the Rangers. They just swapped positions. But again, I mean, I think the chemistry is there between them, and I think again, I mean, there obviously was a big culture problem in the locker room here. When you have two coaches who enjoy each other that much, I mean that trickles down to your players, no doubt. And who work well together, which is great. In terms of the Josh B. pessimism, I mean, I do share those thoughts in the sense where it does kind of feel like, the past couple coaches, you specifically Laviolette, you go with the veteran coach who has won before, who has a track record, been to multiple Stanley Cup finals, multiple different teams, comes in here, and other than, obviously his first season, lays an absolute goose egg and loses his job. And I mean, again, you can, point your fingers to Drury or the players, whatever, but it does feel like that you are almost running it back just with, a different person,
But you really don't think that he's a better coach than Peter Laviolette?
No, I do. I was going to say, I mean, that's the one thing is that his track record is maybe a little bit, highly acclaimed and obviously more recent. I mean, you think about Sullivan's track record. He was, interim coach in 2016 for the Penguins. What does he do that year? He wins the Stanley Cup with them. Beats the Arcs, becomes, I think, the sixth coach in the NHL to do that as an interim the same year. And then he goes back to back. He beats the Predators. He beats Laviolette in the Cup final 2017. First Pittsburgh coach to do that, only American coach to do that in the NHL, to go back-to-back, which is pretty wild. Obviously, the guy is, reaching feats that no other American-born coach has done, no other Penguins coach has done, and then obviously has a pretty solid track record with them. Obviously, team gets older, whatever, they part ways. That's just it's the ebbs and flows of the league. That doesn't mean that he can't do good things for another team that has some youth, that has some veterans. I guess this is going to work out, is what I would say. Again, like Josh B, that thought is still in the back of my head, but like you said, I mean, Sullivan is an upgraded Laviolette, is what you got, which, I mean, is obviously a good thing.
And I think, too, sure, somebody could grow into something that you would say would better, but there's no way that you could have hired anybody else and said, like, from the jump that, like, oh, they're a better coach than Sullivan. Like, he's the best coach that was available that you could hire.
Right.
You could have
on
taken
paper.
a chance
Yeah.
and hire, this guy at college, that. But it's like,
Right.
what are you going off of? You know what I mean? He would have to earn that. But just from the jump, I feel like he was the best, you could do. And like I said, I just think the fact that he's a true professional, I don't know. It just, to me, I always thought Laviolette just, I don't know. Like, it's like, I know hockey coaches, like, you're never going to be a cupcake easy. But I don't know. He just seemed too, just miserable. Almost like Gallant in a way.
Yeah. No, yeah, I can see that, I guess.
And not that you know what I'm saying? Not that I'm expecting him to be cheesing in the box, but it just, I don't know, there was just something about it where it's like, he just seemed like a prick, honestly.
Yeah, no, it seemed like his locker room presence
Both of
is
them,
not great.
The same guy,
Yeah. And I guess Sullivan is a different guy, I guess. But again, I mean, even to go with Glenn, I mean, you're picking up coaches who's had success with prior teams, and then they just didn't work out for the Rangers. Sullivan is a little different.
I mean, Gallant, especially. What the hell has he done?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But I guess time will tell. I was speaking about getting a younger coach, maybe finding someone in college who hasn't coached around the NHL yet. But again, I mean, obviously the formula that Drury wants here. I mean, this is the type of coach that he wants. Clearly, this is the decision.
And it means that he's trying to win right now. There's no type of rebuild here. Maybe like a partial, but not really. Like he's contending with Sullivan.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he's definitely looking at his roster, realizing how there are some big contracts. It's going to be tough to move some players, and you're probably not going to be moving a lot of these players. So obviously he's relying a lot on the coaching staff, which is why I do like hiring Torts with Sullivan. And it's interesting. I mean, to go back to the Sullivan Cup Finals, I'd have to look at the Cup runs, to be honest. But I remember very specifically both of those Cup Finals, and it was like Nashville and San Jose. You were like surprised to see them there. I think San Jose was their first time in franchise history at the Cup Final.
Yeah, I mean, what do we think of San Jose?
And exactly, what have they been doing since?
Right.
Nashville, same deal. First time at the Cup Final in forever. What have they been doing since? So, and not to question, how those cups were easy to win or anything like that, because it's not easy to get to the playoffs. But again, it's just those little things that you kind of think about, because again, I mean, you could have said these things about Laviolette and clearly, or about Gallant, and even you said it too, like Gallant, moving around so much. What's the deal with that?
Right?
Like, so it's almost like, not to see that I don't want to toss around the word fraudulent seasons, but it does put question marks in your head where it's like, big spots, big team. Like, is this guy really going to be that coach that you want, that you need for the team? Obviously, time will tell. But like you said, I mean, Drury's in a win right now mentality. So is the entire Rangers fan base. The leash is short as hell. You mentioned highest paid coach in history. Just like any other sport, I mean, that comes with you better have results immediately. There's going to be absolutely no no room for error, dude.
No,
So
absolutely not.
I mean, a lot of pressure on Drury too. I mean, not for nothing. This is another season that is a bust. If you miss the playoffs again, like there's no way Drury is going to be coming back.
No.
There's no way. Most of these guys, that is rebuild your entire team again.
But I'm excited just to see what it looks like. And obviously, you said a lot of guys you won't be able to move, but some guys, You are going to be able to move, and then I love the exciting thing. It's almost like a parallel with the Yankees, giving like Jason Dominguez, the full reign, playing every day, that type of thing. With Peralt, honestly, I mean, to be like on the first line next year, maybe. Like, you know what I mean? Like to grow with Sullivan.
I mean, not for nothing, but like, the Penguins have had some, young guys come up who maybe weren't that great, need to be developed. Sullivan was a part of it, obviously, maybe not developed them too well. But he can do that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he developed what? Gensel, Raquel. I feel like there's somebody else too that was this year maybe, or was it Raquel had the really
Raquel had a good year, yeah. And then also Torts. I mean, we spoke about it. I mean, reports do say that the younger players do have a respect for John Tortorella. So, again, I mean, that's one thing the Rangers haven't been able to do in a very long time is really develop their talent. On like a fast track and to have them be sustainable on the Rangers roster. So we'll see what happens. Like you said, there is some youthful talent. Othman, Peralt. I mean, there's not really that much, but those are the two guys that you want to look at to have great seasons next year. I mean, you're going to need them to. You need a well-rounded team. I mean, it can't be. You can't have that drop off that you had in your bottom 6 players, especially if, God forbid, you have another year where your top line guys aren't necessarily gelling together. But it should be interesting.
No, I can't wait to see it. Yeah. And as like we talk about pessimism, once the Rangers started going through it, I knew writing was on the wall. I feel the exact opposite right now. I think good things are ahead. And I think this is a good way to start the offseason. And speaking of next season, also the big news last night, Joe Micheletti hanging them up. And the Rangers have decided to switch their radio booth, to the TV side of things. And Dave Maloney, it says, will take over for Joe as a color analyst. Tight on Maloney, hammered. But on TV, he can't be hammered.
Yeah, dude, I don't know about that one.
Who was it? There was some player, I don't know, in the playoffs, like some guy remember he flipped out. I don't know, he did something against the Rangers, got a penalty, and he just completely went after him, personally.
Really?
It was in the playoffs a couple years ago. I forget. I don't know, it was Tom Wilson, I think.
Oh, was it Tom Wilson?
In the playoffs a couple years ago?
Maybe
it was.
Yeah. It was 2 seasons ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody
First
completely
round.
went nuts. He should not play hockey. All this shit.
Oh my God. Yeah. Look at him now, dude.
But the only thing I would say, is obviously he has chemistry with Kenny. So we'll see what it looks like on the TV side of things. But I do think it makes sense. Joe kind of wanting to go out with Sam Rosen. Maybe didn't want the whole fanfare on the way out. Now he gets to just retire peacefully. I think they said 15 years he was in the booth.
He was great, dude.
Yeah.
I met him one time in Grand Central after a game, actually.
Wait, but dude, you know what? Actually, I was just thinking about
what?
Just kind of like how Michael Butkus says with Doc. I don't think we can watch the Rangers games or even like the Rangers anymore, right? Hockey's over. Dude. Sam Rosen, Joe Micheletti, over. Michael.
But yeah, dude. I mean, obviously for him, enjoy retirement, whatever.
They make the game, dude.
Dude, they make the game, dude. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I guess we'll see. I have higher hopes for Sullivan. Let's just put it that way.
What about Kenny, though?
Kenny's good. Yeah. But
I think, though, he can kind of reel him in a little bit.
Why couldn't you get Don? What do you think Don would have done that?
I don't know if he wanted to do TV, though, maybe. And I don't know if he wanted to do it. Because is he on it every time, whether it's in the studio? Yeah, so I don't know if he wanted to do it every time.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just the intermission report or whatever,
Yeah, so I think that was why. Yeah. Also, speaking of hockey, John Pollock says, man, Winnipeg needs to end this series tonight. I'm getting worried about my cup winner pick.
Yeah, dude. I would be too.
I mean, it's been tighter than expected. But before we get to tonight, just kind of running over yesterday, the Leafs out of the first round.
Take care of business.
They haven't done that too much the past decade, Tony. But they win 4-2. A game that was 2-2. They pull away late here. They get 2 goals and assists from Nylander and one of your guys, Pacioretty, with a goal and an assist. But Toronto moves up. Definitely, I think, tighter than they expected. And the Senators gave them a run. But I'm sure they're happy to just be moving on here.
Yeah, dude. Max Pacioretty, obviously, great player. But I really thought the Maple Leafs were going to blow this one, especially when Ottawa scored in the third to tie it up.
Yep.
I really thought that was going to be it, dude. I thought there was going to be a collapse. The David Perron goal, too. David Perron, I honestly forgot about him. But in any case, dude, good for Toronto making it out of the first round. I would watch out for them now. Honestly, I think they're
could
kind
beat
of
the Panthers.
they're kind of like that over the hump team. You know, like they got over the hump now. I would imagine a good deal of pressure. Obviously, a long road ahead to win a cup right now. You mentioned Florida.
No ice for Florida though.
What do you mean no ice?
They don't have home ice.
I mean, we'll see. Again, I would say watch out for them. Dude. I think they can start to get rolling.
Yeah,
now,
so I'm saying
honestly.
they have a pretty good shot
Yes,
to beat them.
they
Not that
do.
you're anticipating it, but it's out there.
It is definitely out there.
It's exciting to see. I mean, there's a lot of talent on that team, so to see them advance to the playoffs, you know,
great.
Nylander, Tavares, Matthews,
about
so
time,
that'll
dude.
be good. Pacioretty. Wait, what is it? I know I said it wrong.
Patchy already.
Patchy already.
Exactly.
Speaking of talent, the Knights, and you know, maybe it took more than they anticipated, Tony.
Yep.
But we take out the Wild 3-2 here. And we're gonna be moving on to the second round. And they will be matched up with the Edmonton Oilers, who won 6-4 last night.
That's right.
At Rogers Place. That is gonna be a great series. These teams have played in the playoffs before. So I mean, you know, two really good games. You know, the Wild and the Knights, and then the Oilers and the Kings. You know, what did you think though about the dream season for the Kings ending kind of early here?
Yeah, obviously a little tough. You know, everyone who watches the show knew I was kind of rooting for the Kings here, and you know, they did kind of blow it, I suppose. You know, they definitely had the opportunity to. I guess it was Game 5 was like the emphatic like victory by Edmonton.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of those games where you kind of thought, again, especially against Pickard or whatever. Yeah, Calvin Pickard, like the backup tender. Like you gotta figure out a way to score more against them. And they, you know, again, like another game too where they score first too last night, and they're just not able to really sustain that momentum. Obviously, maybe they had a tough time keeping up with Edmonton. You know, down the stretch of the game. Kopitar, you know, I guess made it a 1-goal deficit deep into the third. They went to the empty net. Connor Brown ends up, you know, scoring the empty net. It's tough, dude. Obviously, you know, you look at these games and they were all hardly fought. I mean, again, 6-4. I mean, I think 3 of the games ended in like a 6-4, 6-5 scenario.
7-4, 6-2, 6-4.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, obviously a lot of scoring taking place here. Darcy, I don't know, dude. I mean, you know, he's one of those tenders that we saw even with Colorado. You know, wasn't really able to necessarily make the best saves. I think he had a good season. He did not have a great series.
No,
against the Edmonton.
Wasn't what we saw last time with the Avalanche.
No, not at all. So, not to put, you know, obviously one guy at bay here. I think the Kings, though, again, I mean, Byfield had a great season. That was a guy who, you know, I forget when he was drafted. It was a few years ago, but a guy who almost looked like a bust, had a great year. Obviously, Kopitar, I'm sure he'll still be playing. You know, you have a great roster. You maybe want to look at your tender situation, add another position player, another skill player, rather. But not for nothing. I mean,
Byfield's only 22. Wow.
Yeah. I think he was drafted maybe
2020.
5 years ago.
Hey, young age, 17.
Yeah, dude. And again, he looks like a guy who's going to continue to be developing and be a phenomenal asset to your team. It should be interesting to see what type of moves they make, I guess. I mean,
new goalie, right? Probably.
New goalie, maybe some better defensemen as well. I know some of the defensemen, I think Clark or Spence, a couple of younger guys here, but not for nothing, dude. You spent the whole year without Drew Doughty, too, who is a great veteran defenseman. So, you know, obviously you're on to next year. Edmonton's moving on. Good for them. Tough spot here against Vegas. I want to say, did they lose in the conference finals to Vegas when they won it that year?
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So obviously a little bit of a rematch, a little bit of a salty run back here. It should be interesting to see what Edmonton can put up against Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, and they're out to prove themselves.
Yeah.
You know, after losing in the Stanley Cup Finals Game 7 last year, to get back there. I mean, that would really kind of you know, just give them some street, you know, credentials here.
Oh yeah,
especially with you, honestly. It would be interesting to see. I mean, have you thought about the other side of things here if they
win the cup?
Yeah, I mean, how isn't it like just like your world with them is completely turned upside down in terms of how they're viewed?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess you got to give them their flowers for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird spot to be. Like, what's a stranger spot for you? Like McDavid Rangers or Edmonton Champs? Would you say?
I mean, I guess the Edmonton Champs, I suppose.
Really?
I mean, it's something I haven't really seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And not for nothing. Again, I mean, we've seen the Rangers get, like players on the latter part of their career that were really good in the league. So I don't think it's too far fetched to think about that. And Edmonton again. I mean, Edmonton was that team that had first round picks all the time, because they just sucked every year.
Right.
So, I would say that for me would be pretty big, even though obviously historically Gretzky, Messier, whatever. But yeah, I would say that. I guess I mean, it's gonna be a good series. It's gonna be a bit back and forth. And I gotta say, dude, I mean, not for nothing, like Golden Knights have shown some weaknesses.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Even in the series against the Wild. So,
which is probably making you think, maybe.
I mean,
right? Like maybe Edmonton might be back in the conference finals.
And it's like Hill's gonna have to step up pretty big.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna have a lot of shots in his face, dude. Aiden Hill again, another just as the team too has shown some signs of weaknesses here. The good news is that, Golden Knights have a lot of firepower as well. So I think you'll see some high-scoring games. If Golden Knights can play some good defense, I mean, again, Kings had one of the better defenses in the league. So we'll see what happens, though.
And really, the road woes really, came back to bite here for the Kings.
Yeah.
0-3 in this series in Edmonton.
Yeah, and then listen, you take back-to-back games at home, you lose back-to-back games on the road. That gives Edmonton the momentum. All of a sudden, they steal one from you at home.
That's it.
That's it. That is the difference.
Series. And we have a game 7 as the Colorado Avalanche win 7-4 over the Dallas Stars here. I mean, I think it's going to be great to see this in Game 7. You didn't want to see the Avalanche go home early here. This game was crazy.
Yeah.
The lead 4-3 going into the third. But then 4 unanswered for the Avalanche.
Wild.
I mean, what do you think about this going into Game 7 here?
I mean, that's the type of Avalanche team we saw in Game 1 here. Because it was a tight game. The period, they just started attacking on goals. And that's just like how Avalanche can be sometimes. I mean, when their players, when their lines are just gelling and they're figuring it out. I mean, they're a really hard team to defend against. I guess on the Dallas' side of things here, Roope Hintz decided to show up the past 2 games. I think he has 3 goals and 3 assists in the past 2 games. Four points last night. And he's a guy who I said hasn't been showing up for Dallas. Last year did not. And not for nothing, if they're going to want to win here, they're going to have to figure that out, and he's going to have to show up. But obviously, you got to keep some guys at bay here. You can't be giving up 4 goals in the third here.
Yeah.
To lose the lead.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not good. Total collapse in the third here.
Lose the series.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's kind of done. I think it's
Avalanche.
Avs, yeah.
I mean, and this was their first win at home against the Stars the last 2 years in the playoffs.
And it is, again, it's crazy, to say that it's one game, anything could happen,
Right.
But I'd be willing to bet on the Avalanche. But hey, man, I mean, this is exactly what you watch playoff hockey for, Game 7s, because anything could happen. I mean, not for nothing, Blackwood could go out there and lay an egg for Colorado. They'd be down 4-0. He gets pulled, and they got to try to battle back. And then they could, but they're also that's fucking tough,
Yeah.
So, literally anything could happen. And, a lot of people are rooting for Dallas. I guess good for them. I mean, the storylines, like I said, Jamie Benn, obviously, Tyler Seguin, those are guys that people want. People want them to see win cups. Will they? I mean, they got to show up. I mean, Ottinger has the ability to shut down a lot of the players on Colorado. Their defense has been solid. Their offense has shown up in games. And you asked me before this playoffs. I mean, I didn't think this would be Game 7.
Yeah.
So Dallas playing a little bit out of their boots a little bit too. So even though they were a higher seed, but nonetheless, Colorado's still Colorado, dude.
Yeah. So that'll be great. That's going to be 8:00 on ABC tomorrow. Game 7 in Dallas.
What do you think? You think Colorado?
Colorado. Overtime, 5-4, McCarr. What do you think?
I think it's going to be regulation, Avs, maybe a 6-4, empty netter at the end.
Could see it.
Yeah.
One game tonight. Blues looking to force a game 7 at home here against the Jets. This has been, speaking of kind of out of their boots, Tony, right? I mean, you could say that about Blues this series, and Hellebuck has continued that trend of not necessarily playing well, in the playoffs. And the home team has won every game of the series. I mean, do you think we're going to see another game 7 here?
I would say yes. I mean, it's tough. I mean, obviously, the home plays a huge part, obviously. And, Hellebuck, I mean, not for nothing, Hellebuck got the win last game. I think he faced 19 shots, I think. So obviously not like highly tested. Of course, you think of the prior games, he probably faced less than that and still was pulled, So he did, I think, get maybe a little bit of a monkey off his back, but you still have some question marks there, dude. And St. Louis is going to be riled for sure. Obviously, that home ice taking a massive advantage here in this series. I would be surprised if the Jets do pull it out on the road. I do think they win at home in a game 7. But I do think St. Louis forces it. Dude.
I mean, I know the crowd's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
We know how they get there in St. Louis. But I don't know. I just feel like Hellebuck's kind of due to just play like the guy in the regular season. And I think he's going to go nuts tonight. Maybe 30-31. And I can see the Jets kind of squeaking one out, 3-1, empty netter late type of scenario. But it's going to get interesting. It's going to be tight. And, that would be a good series, Jets and Avalanche next round.
It would be. By the way, Blues outscoring the Jets at home. What is that? 12-3?
Yeah. I mean, that's a trend.
That's crazy.
John Pollock kind of thinking of songs along the same lines. He says 3-1 Jets, which is what I just said, and then 5-3 the Avalanche. And then we have an Ernie Year saying good morning, guys. Probably sleeping in after all that late night contact with Josh B and Michael Butka, right?
The group chat. I wonder what the name of the group chat is.
Late night contact. It
Honestly, probably is, dude.
Yeah.
Hilarious. The Lakers are doomed group chat. Oh, my God. I think that was after game 2, I think it was. Dude.
Yeah.
It was
that was funny. And speaking of basketball, I did want to mention, like I said at the top, I did watch, the entire Knicks game here, the 116-113 victory over the Pistons, a game that they led by 14 after the first quarter, in a game that, the game of runs, Tony. I believe the Pistons had like a 22 run to eventually in the fourth quarter take a 7-point lead, but then like literally scored 1 point like the rest of the way. And I mean, it was pretty like there was like 2 collapses in one. But that happened once they went up 7. Once there's only a couple minutes left. I really thought this is like, wow, the Knicks are gonna blow this, and they might lose this series now. I mean, they haven't won. They haven't played well at home. But I mean, I wouldn't quite match, what Omar was saying regarding Jalen and Michael Jordan this morning. But, I mean, he was unbelievable. The game-winning shot, the crossover of Thompson, nothing but net. 40 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds for Brunson last night. That's unbelievable. And especially somebody at his size that's able to just get open. It doesn't matter who's guarding him. I mean, the Pistons really didn't have any answer other than his 3-point shot wasn't really falling. 3 of 10 last night. But he was unbelievable. This was an exciting game for sure. Just the back and forth nature, the runs, and also too a guy that's caught a lot of flack. And they were talking about this with Rick and Dave this morning. Was Mikal Bridges, and he had one of his best games as a Knick. 25 points last night. The big dunk there down the stretch. He was 11-16 from the floor. So just, there's been a lot of conversation about, the 5 first-round picks for him, the this, the that. But he ended up stepping up big, and they really needed everybody. It was kind of interesting, too. Sure, he had 15 rebounds. Karl Anthony Towns fouls out late in this one and only had 10 points. So they had to go to Mitchell Robinson for a little bit, and Detroit did a little hack-a-shack with him too, 1 of 4 from the free throw line. But that whole thing, like, I wish there was a way to just outlay that, because it's just funny. Like, no team actually does it, but if like you have somebody that's like a really bad foul shooter and you're in the bonus, Like, why would? Because you could do an off-ball foul. Like, but you don't even inbound the ball. Or he doesn't have the ball. Like, why wouldn't you just do that every time? Just keep sending them to the line. I mean, they're going to score way less if someone's making 20% of their free throws.
Absolutely, dude.
So
why don't they do that?
I guess because it's like you could stop them sometimes. So you're giving them opportunities to score. I guess on the other side, and then they could just take the guy out. So a couple of things here. I mean, Detroit, like I kind of mentioned, they're coming. I think they're going to be a threat, next year. A lot of, young talent in this one. Cade Cunningham is going to be great. He just, unfortunately, 0 of 8 from the 3-point line last night kind of did him in.
Yikes.
But you got him.
Missed
Durant,
that layup towards
Thompson,
the end, too.
Yeah, the missed layup. And Malik Beasley, what a signing. I think me and Pooch were looking up last night. I think he played for $6 million, averaged 20 points a game this year for the Pistons, 6 of 13 for 3-point range last night. He was unbelievable. So while it is disappointing for them, like I said, this is, I believe, just the beginning of it. And it's almost a parallel, Tony, to the Knicks, because the Pistons have been the Knicks. Obviously a little behind pace. The Knicks have been competitive for a few years now. But just in terms of, the lulls of the doldrums of the NBA, all these losing records on playoff games. So they finally accumulate the draft picks, have the young talent. So it's going to be exciting to see them. Like I said, I definitely enjoyed watching this game last night. And I definitely will, tune into the Knicks-Celtics series as long as there's no conflicts with the Yankees. Which obviously there's going to be a bunch of conflicts.
I was going to say, there's got to be, right?
Multiple TVs.
Well, multiple TVs, yeah, it's for sure, dude. If it's like, if they take it to Game 7, though, are you going to be like locked in on the basketball game, or it's still if the Knicks?
Multiple TVs.
Who has the volume on though? What TV has the volume on?
I mean, it's the Yankees. Your boy Michael K.
Oh, dude.
Come on, Tony. Come on.
Oh.
But I really want to see these Boston fans silenced. I really do. And like I said, crazier things have happened. So I just want to see it happen, honestly.
You think John Pollock is rooting for the Knicks to beat Boston? You think he's
I think
be
everybody
more
hates Boston, though. I don't know. But I guess we'll see what he says.
Yeah.
But speaking of what he says something. Ernie says something.
I guess to go with Pollock here, this season has ripped my heart out too many times. Listen, dude, they came really close to winning that game last night.
How much better, did the Knicks really play than the Pistons this series? Especially the games in Detroit.
Yeah.
3 victories by 6 points.
Yeah.
Total.
Obviously, Brunson hitting that 3 at the end was obviously
ice.
like
That was
absolute
complete
ice in his veins,
ice.
dude. And then let's see, let's go back up here. Ernie says exactly what it is.
Tired. Yes.
Yep.
Late night contact. Michael
dude.
Butka.
John Pollock obviously still ill. Jay Bird watching some Knicks last night. Jalen Brunson is him. He says Knicks turned on the Brunson burners. Obviously we were poking fun what Omar said and everything, but where are you putting Brunson right now? Like in the league, like is he like?
He's in the top 10.
Top
definitely.
10 player.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of closers, he could be a top 5 because there is a
Right.
difference between being a closer, being a playoff performer, and just being a top 5 player. And obviously, he's one of the best there. And like I said, it's just interesting. Usually you don't get. Obviously, you think it's Steph Curry, but Brunson, I think, is even shorter than him, just in terms of like someone at that size being able to be a closer, to drive and shoot. It really is unbelievable. Is Jay now all of a sudden like a diehard Knicks fan like he is with the Mets or no?
I guess. This is honestly the first I'm hearing him watching Knicks games.
But what? I bet this is happening.
Well, listen, he can go on. He can go follow the Knicks if he wants, absolutely. But listen, I will say, almost every day he's texting me about the Mets.
Yeah, but I started the trend.
I don't think he's not a spiteful person.
But you don't think just even the just smallest part?
I think he took offense to what you said.
No, but before that, like just the smallest part of why this began was because you heard me like just chirping about the Mets for a while.
I don't know. Look, we've watched Mets games before. He sat down. He roots for the Mets. Like I wouldn't say he.
You know what it is though. What I would say in all seriousness, because I know there's a lot of kidding around here.
He says no.
And then what does he say?
I don't think about you at all, Barnes.
No, but just tell me this. Tell me this, okay? And I just want an honest answer.
You're talking to me?
Yes.
Okay.
When we went, the 3 of us, Yankee Stadium a couple years ago.
Yeah.
At that time, he was not a fan of the Mets. He was not.
I don't know.
He
I
was
don't.
not.
I don't think so. He
was
wasn't
not.
a fan of the Yankees.
But I'm saying he wasn't a fan of the Mets. That's the point. All of a sudden, just out of the blue, like diehard fan, the package, this and that, just kind of came out of nowhere.
The package.
The Mets package. That he purchased,
yeah.
Tony. You knew I was talking about that. Let's not get crazy.
I'm pretty sure for as long as I've known Jay, yeah, I'm a Mets fan. Like not like he's not like I follow. Like, obviously not like I'm watching every second, every inning sort of deal. But he was rooting for the Yankees.
But that's not what I was saying. I was just saying at that time he was not a Mets fan. So that's why it just came as a surprise to me. All of a sudden the Mets get Soto. He's a diehard fan. I don't know. It just seemed a little, bandwagonish to me, if you ask me. But.
Speaking of bandwagon, John Pollock, I'm on the Wolves train now, he says.
Okay.
Dude, which I guess is a good train to hop on now. JD Sports says early show again asking for a friend. Lakers still out of the playoffs? ? Go Yankees.
So giving Ernie a little
tough
chirp
time,
there.
dude.
Good to hear from JD as always. Glad I got to pop in at the end of his show yesterday, and definitely riled for the Yankees. JD, going to be a great weekend at the stadium.
Speaking of Ernie here, he does say, got to be careful with what I say, so let's go Yankees, let's go Knicks, he says, now that my Lakers are on the back nine. And then we do have Jay Bird saying, I wasn't really a baseball fan. I will say the Sportsport has sparked my fandom. The way Soto is playing, can't call me a bandwagon.
But I'm saying I think it started before the season even started. Oh, Soto's on the Mets now. Ooh, everybody's talking about the Mets. I'm going to be a Mets fan. That's what I'm saying.
That's what the comment said.
But I'm saying that does it make any sense to you?
I mean, it's a comment it's a statement that makes sense for people. But again, I don't think Jay, he's not like he's like, whoa, like all of a sudden he's on the Mets. Like him and I have sat down years past. He's rooting for the Mets.
Ernie, I think said something before I'm dead or whatever. John Pollock. Did he say
John Pollock?
No, above that. Didn't Ernie say something else there?
Yeah, I got that already.
Oh, I missed it.
I gotta be careful with what I say, so let's go Yankees, let's go Knicks, now that my Lakers are on the back nine.
Okay, that's why.
And then here he goes again, bringing up, can't mention Soto, basically. Don't want to get Tony hot. And I mean, listen, dude, first of all, you didn't even mention Soto. You said something more dumb, which was that they were just good against bad teams, which is it's just ridiculous. But listen, you can talk about Soto all you want. I mean, it's just funny that you don't want to mention him now that he had two home runs in a game. So, Jay Bird says, next time I want to be a fan of a team, I'll be sure to run it by you, Barnes.
I mean, the only thing I would say, Jay, is listen, obviously, I mean, I'm not around you all the time, but I've known you for a few years now, so it just came as a surprise to me. But I look forward to the next time I see you in person, really getting a fully in-depth conversation. Maybe I could give you your certification in terms of being a legit fan.
Well, he's always welcome here on the show, dude,
Yeah.
to prove himself.
Yes.
Obviously, that would be the way to do it.
Yes, absolutely.
And then Ernie, about time, ... Yeah, absolutely, about time.
Yeah.
And this is it, dude. It's going to be... Yeah, exactly,
right?
dude. I mean, it's a downhill battle for him from here, dude. Snowballing, dude. Okay?
I was surprised because we were actually talking with Kev and Josh B, and then actually Yak joined the conversation as well yesterday, and Kev was riled about the 2 home runs, and even Josh B. How Josh B. very he's not like me with the Mets. He was just saying something
reasonable.
He was just like, oh well, what good did that do?
No, yeah, I mean the rest of the bats don't do, but but this is the thing now. It's again, to my point the other day. Bottom line is the outcome of the game. Who gives a fuck?
Oh no, that's
that is the point.
That's what he was saying. And then we were just saying if we said the same thing about Judge or something the Yankees lost, he would say it. So why was Kev riled with the 2 home runs? That's what we were. That was the argument yesterday. Which
I guess
makes
so.
sense.
But again, bottom line is the outcome of the game. It doesn't matter how you get there.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm
that
saying,
is it.
Who cares if somebody
Right.
has to? Right.
Yeah, who
I mean,
cares?
other than I
Yeah.
guess if you just think that now a
Yeah.
hot streak is going to happen.
Right.
You understand.
Or
that,
if you're breaking a record or something like that,
Right.
that's cool. But again, outcome of the game is really what trumps everything. So
yeah,
dude.
How do you feel about St. Louis?
The Cards?
Yeah, about the series. I'm saying.
I mean, listen, we did well against them earlier in the season, so I mean, I think I think it should be a sweep. Honestly, is what you're looking at. I mean, I know.
Nice.
I believe they're still they have another bullpen game. I think maybe is it tomorrow or Sunday? There's no starter listed. Which again, you're dealing with injuries and now some of the bullpen. Maybe you're trying to rest whatever, so you're using other guys, I guess, which is fine. That's gonna be tough, but again, I would imagine that Mets are able to put up 15 runs this weekend, like easily.
Yeah.
So I mean, you should be winning with your offense at this point. Hopefully, those bats stay hot, and I think you're looking at 3 wins in the road.
There you go.
Hell yeah,
There you
dude.
go. So maybe a 6-0 for the New York teams this weekend. We'll see.
That would be great, dude.
And then really, other than that, the Clippers do force the Game 7 last night. Harden had a big game, so they'll play Saturday 7:30 TNT Game 7 in Denver. So
That's wild.
Always enjoy these Game 7s. That'll be definitely much must-watch TV. I would imagine a close game. And then we do have Game 6 tonight in Golden State. Warriors will look to advance to the second round there. And then also, you had Scotty Scheffler yesterday, 10 under, 61, TPC Craig Ranch, your round 1 leader.
I mean, I'm telling you, he came into this weekend with a vengeance, dude.
Yeah.
He wants to get this first win of the season. And he knows. I think he knows that he's the best player on the course.
Starting on the back 9 today, only even after 61 yesterday. But I think we see this all the time, though.
Yeah.
Like Justin Thomas today, the RBC ended up
Right.
winning. So hard to go low 2 days in a row.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's golf. It
Yeah.
really. I mean, literally,
Yeah.
break the course record, then shoot a 74.
Right,
Those are the ebbs and flows of golf here. But I have confidence Sky's going to pull this one out. I mean, he is consistent, even if he's even through today. I mean, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, and he's got some golfers on his heel. How about this? Johnny Vegas just made a birdie, so he's 2
Wow,
under
there we
through
go.
6. He's tied with Scotty.
Okay.
Patton Kaziri is 1 back at 9 under. And then you have a few guys at 8 under. Rico Hoey, who will tee off at 111. Will Gordon, Chandler Phillips, and Sam Stevens all at 8 under par. Steven Yeager's at 7 under. He's going to tee off later, as well as Cam Champ. So yeah, I think this is going to be interesting. A lot of scoring, the lead into the PGA Championship less than 2 weeks away. That's going to be great. And then I guess a couple more on the way out here. Michael Butka and Jay.
Yes, let's go here. Here we go. Buckta says, "Hi Barnes," once again.
Hi, Michael.
And he says, "Tom Selleck, that's me. Great job producing. Thank you, Michael." Jay Bird says, "Just keep Stanek in the bullpen."
I mean, I don't think he's starting, Jay, right? Or does he just mean as
No, don't bring him out of the bullpen. Like, keep him in the bullpen.
Oh, okay. But is it just me though, or has he been better than Diaz this year?
I mean, he's blown 2 games, dude.
I think his numbers are better though.
His numbers, yeah, probably. But like right now,
Yeah.
it just
Right
seems like
now.
dude, he's going through a little something.
But going through Murder's Row, literally right now, you would rather have Diaz in there? Like best 1, 2, 3 in the game or whatever team. Let's say you're facing the Dodgers playoffs. Like right now, who would you put out there?
Oh, God, that's tough, dude. I mean, honestly, I guess Diaz, to be honest, right now.
All right.
I think Stanek is just being overused. And not for nothing. Well, I don't want to say anything bad about Stanek, really. He's been great. Happy with him. Hope that he figures it out and, kind of gets back to what he was last week. Jay Bird here, big fan of Brazoban. I think Brazoban has definitely pitched better than we thought. Right? He started out the bullpen game, had 3 good innings. So, and he's been pretty solid. Keeps the ball in the park for the most part right now, too. And again, right now would be pitching better than Stanek.
Right now, we'll see what happens.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just the organic. That's why I say
dude.
organic is funny. Anyway, here we are, and it's an exciting weekend upon us, but a great week of shows, and couldn't have done it without all of you. So we really appreciate everybody tuning in. Continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page. Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume. The merch at downtowntv.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games. Let's go Yankees!
Let's go Mets.
And we will see you on Monday.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.